I tried to fit myself into that mold of what I thought I should do. And as a result, I became very disappointed in myself when these habits didn't last. So today I want to share 7 morning habits that have finally worked for me because I adjusted them to fit my lifestyle and not the other way around. Hi, I'm Vanessa Torres, and welcome to my podcast. Over the years, I've navigated through the highs and lows of life, rebuilt my life alongside my husband and 2 daughters when we left beautiful British Columbia and had to start from scratch in search of a better life for our family. I've struggled to find my own identity outside of being a wife and a mother. And like me, there's so many of us that are trying to find our purpose, have a voice, and simply try to be the best versions of ourselves. Join me on this journey to discover and become that woman you can be proud of. We'll peel back the curtains and discuss topics on lifestyle, marriage, motherhood, walking in our faith, and what it takes to reach the other side of fear, and so much more. Think of me as your girl having a glass of wine and deep diving on meaningful, raw, and unscripted conversations. This is the place where you can be fierce, bold, and unapologetic. This is That Woman Podcast. Hey guys, welcome back. And today we're going to talk about some morning habits that I've been able to apply to my routine that have really helped me. Some of these tips I have already shared before, but they're so important and they really helped me that I wanted to make sure to include them. Building morning habits can feel really frustrating at times, especially when you can't seem to stay consistent. Believe me, I've been there. Developing these habits requires patience and taking it one day at a time. As someone who's tried many different ways to build healthy habits, I understand that not every tip is going to work for everyone. So it's the true definition of trial and error. And I think that this is a roadblock I encountered for so many years. I tried to fit myself into that mold of what I thought I should do. And as a result, I became very disappointed in myself when these habits didn't last. So today I want to share 7 morning habits that have finally worked for me because I adjusted them to fit my lifestyle and not the other way around. So, with this in mind, it's also important to note that everyone's day looks different. All these habits that I'll be sharing will not look the same every day for you or in this exact order. Some of you may be busy parents with toddlers and newborns, or if you're like me, you don't have a set working schedule because every day fluctuates. So the goal here is not to force habits, but it's rather practicing them and practicing the consistency of building them into your routine over time. So it's not a race. So remember to be kind to yourself and focus on the journey. So let's get ready as we dive on in these 7 morning habits that will help you to conquer your day. All right, so the first habit that you can practice in the morning is do not hit the snooze button. We are jumping right in. We are starting off with the most difficult thing to do in order for you to get your day started. We've all been guilty at some point of fighting that urge to get out of bed by hitting the snooze button multiple times when our alarm goes off. I remember I came across this video from Mel Robbins where she does a really great job describing in that video why that is the worst thing you can do in the morning. You end up feeling more anxious, less productive, and more tired each and every time that you delay yourself from waking up. I know it's not easy, believe me, I know it's not easy, but you have to practice daily on training your brain to do this. So, what I would do is that I started every night before going to bed by consciously telling myself, okay, you are going to hear the alarm, you are not going to hit snooze, you are going to take a few moments if you have to, just count to three, and you will immediately get up. This is literally the little pep talk I would give myself at night every time because I knew it was coming in the morning. I knew that I was not going to want to get up. So I did this for a long time. And some days it worked and some days it didn't. Again, the idea is to continue practicing because every day will get a little bit easier. So one step at a time. Another tip that really helped me, especially to be able to get up in the morning, was by switching from using just a regular alarm or an alarm on my phone, and I switched to a sunrise alarm clock. Ooh, I cannot tell you how happy I am that I made this switch. So, if you've never heard of a sunrise alarm clock, it's a digital alarm combined with an artificial light that mimics the natural light during sunrise. So, think of it as waking up to a beautiful sunny day peeking through your window. So, the one that I use, I got one off of Amazon. Honestly, you could just probably go to Amazon, type in sunrise alarm clock, and so many of them will pop up. Mine is set in a way that makes it very easy for me to wake up. So let's say that I want to wake up at 5 a.m. So 30 minutes before, so 4:30, the light would slowly turn on and mimic a sunrise effect. By the time that my alarm sounds, I've actually already woken up to the light hitting my face, and I don't feel like I really have to force myself to get up. I don't know what sorcery magic is in that sunrise alarm clock, okay? But it actually did feel different and it made a difference for me to be able to get up a little bit easier. There's something about that light hitting you a few minutes early and doing it in a way where it really is mimicking a sunrise that you start to naturally wake up. So by the time the alarm goes off, I don't feel like it just scared me or it feels like it interrupted my sleep. It really has made it a lot easier for me to then get up. All right, so that was my tip on your first morning habit that you can practice. The second one is always make your bed. So, making your bed might sound like a small and insignificant task, but have you heard the saying that it's the little things that matter? Getting in the habit of making your bed helps set the tone for the rest of your day. I have personally felt the difference on the days I feel too lazy and don't make my bed versus the days that I make the effort. I'm a very visual person, so I need to have my room look organized. First thing in the morning, it helps me feel a lot more productive and it doesn't clutter my brain. So, not only would your bedroom look nicer, but it'll just feel nicer as well as you go throughout your day. Okay, the third one is practice self care. For all the moms out there, I know we are guilty of this. We probably are the worst ones that don't practice self care because the self care goes towards our family, our partner, our husband, our kids. But it's so, so important. Having a self care routine can look in any way, shape, or form. Again, adjusted to your lifestyle. So, for example, for me, by the end of the night, my self care routine looks something like this. I'm gonna brush my teeth, I'm gonna wash my face, slap on a moisturizer, and I go to bed. I'm honestly way too tired to take my sweet time with a bajillion step self care routine. So in the morning, that's when I really like to take my time and pamper myself a bit. That really gives me the opportunity to be able to practice meditation, play a prayer in the background that I can listen to, or I do some self care reflection. There's so many ways that you can really practice that self care. And it's such an important activity for you to include in your daily life. It's going to help you to reduce stress, it helps you to reduce anxiety, and it's also going to give you a little boost of self esteem. So, moving on to habit number four, flush out the toxins. And no, I'm not referring to that kind of flushing out toxins if that's what you immediately thought. As part of my morning habits, I will drink lemon water with chia seeds on an empty stomach every day. Drinking lemon water with chia has so many benefits. A few of those include detoxifying your body. Chia seeds are really high in fiber. It helps with constipation or digestive issues, and lemon water helps with your immune system as well. It's incredible how your body very quickly adapts to the things that are good for it. And I find myself naturally craving lemon water throughout the day if I forget to drink it as soon as I wake up. So, this is a great habit that you can add to your morning routine. It doesn't take very long to do. I usually cut up half of the lemon, squeeze it in. I add literally like half a teaspoon of chia seeds and I let it sit in the water for about 5 minutes. I'll constantly stir it so that they don't get stuck, but I give it about 5 minutes and then I just drink it. Like I said, this is a really easy, quick habit that you can add in the morning and it will make you feel better from the inside out. All right, so we'll do a recap. Number one, do not hit snooze. Number two, always make your bed. Number three, practice self care. And number four, flush out the toxins. So, moving on to number five, have a gratitude practice. I'm sure you've heard me talk about this before in another episode, But if there is only one habit out of this list that you would be able to incorporate in your daily routine, this is the one. One of my goals at the beginning of 2023 was to complain less. So it's so easy and natural to do it. And sometimes it's justified as I'm only venting or, I'm just expressing my frustrations. By the way, this is me. I'm pointing the finger at me because this is what I do. But if we look for the reasons to complain, we were always going to find them. So it's no difference when you choose to redirect your focus on the things that you feel grateful for. So, a few ways that you can start this practice is by taking a few moments when you wake up and think about 3 things you are grateful for. If you prefer to write things down, then you can just journal instead. Or you can just take that time to breathe and feel grateful. Practicing gratitude can just look like you sitting by your bed or sitting on the floor or laying down, and you're just soaking in that moment and feeling gratitude. Number 6, move your body. Another thing you've also heard me talk about a lot and how good it is for you is to move your body. When you hear the term moving your body, it doesn't mean that you have to do this crazy hit workout routine. It doesn't mean that you have to go on a 10K run or do this crazy powerlifting session in the gym. In reality, it can be as simple and as easy as you want it to be. You can do a couple stretches before you change. Or instead of driving to the corner store, you can just walk to the corner store. But it's so important to move our bodies because moving our body gives us energy and it helps us to also release endorphins, release stress, and improve our mood. Also, P.S., shopping at the mall, I would say it counts as moving your body. And finally, number 7, learn on the go. In order to be productive in our day and feel accomplished, we need to be efficient as possible in our day to day routine. So, this is why it's important to take advantage of the time we have and maximize our commute by learning on the go. Nowadays, we're able to access different avenues in which we can grow and learn. So, for example, I love to read, but I'm not always able to sit down and read uninterrupted. However, I can listen to an audiobook version instead, or I can listen to a podcast such as That Woman Podcast. And in reality, there's so many audiobooks and podcast platforms that have a library full of different genre options that you can choose from. So there you have it, guys. And I want you to remember you don't have to do all of these all at once. Maybe just pick one or two that you want to start out with and slowly incorporate the rest. Do little adjustments, do little tweaks. Again, make it so that it's going to fit your lifestyle and not the other way around. Thank you so much for joining me again. Don't forget to follow the show. And as always, keep on striving to be that woman you can be proud of. We finished already? Where did the time go? If you want more, be sure to follow this podcast so you can receive new episodes right when they're released. I'm curious, what was your biggest takeaway from this episode? What resonated with you the most? I'd love for you to let me know by leaving a review. Reviews let this platform know that amazing listeners like you enjoy the show. You can also come hang out with me on Instagram at Miss Vanessa Torres or at that.womanpodcast. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week.